Stop scrolling. Take a breath. Because what I am about to reveal today could completely change the way you look at the coins hiding in America. Right now, somewhere in your home, in a drawer, in a jar, or forgotten in a pocket. There may be a small copper coin silently holding a story that most people never notice. A story born in the heart of the United States Mint. A story shaped by history, war, hope, and human error. Today we are stepping into the shadowy world of Lincoln Wheat Pennies. Not just any pennies, but the 1950 Wheat Penny, the 1952 D Wheat Penny, the 1953 Wheat Penny, and the 1956 Wheat Penny. Coins so familiar that millions have spent them without a second thought. Yet behind their worn edges and simple design lies a mystery that has fascinated collectors for decades. These are not just coins, they are time capsules, each one struck during a moment when America was rebuilding, growing, and redefining itself, and somewhere along the way. Certain examples became legends whispered about in collector circles, passed down in stories, auction rooms, and late-night searches through coin rolls. Stay with me, because once you understand what makes these pennies special, you will never look at loose change the same way again. This is where our journey truly begins, deep in the early years of post-war America, when the sound of factory machines echoed across the nation and optimism quietly returned to American streets. The United States Mint continued striking one of the most iconic coins ever created. The Lincoln Wheat Penny. In 1950, this humble cent carried more than copper. It carried the weight of a nation rebuilding itself. At first glance, the 1950 Wheat Penny looks ordinary. Abraham Lincoln faces right with calm determination. The wheat stalks on the reverse stand tall, symbolizing prosperity and unity. Millions of Americans handled these coins without a second thought. They bought newspapers, candy, bus rides, and groceries. Yet hidden within this familiar design is a chapter of numismatic intrigue that still sends collectors searching through rolls and old collections today. The 1950 Wheat Penny was struck primarily at the Philadelphia Mint, with no mint mark beneath the date. It was produced in large numbers, which is why most examples today are common in circulated condition. But here is where the story takes a dramatic turn. Certain rare examples of the 1950 Wheat Penny have captured legendary status among collectors due to extraordinary preservation, unusual striking characteristics, and the possibility of undiscovered mint errors. In professional numismatics, rarity is not just about how many coins were made. It is about how many survived in exceptional condition. Coin grading companies like PCGs and NGC evaluate coins under magnification, studying every detail: the sharpness of Lincoln's jawline, the separation of the wheat stalks, the original mint luster. Even the smallest contact marks can drastically affect a coin's grade. A standard 1950 Wheat Penny weighs approximately 3.11 grams. It is composed of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc. Its diameter measures 19 millimeters, and its thickness is around 1.52 millimeters. These physical traits are consistent, but what separates an ordinary coin from a legendary one is condition. In circulated grades, the coin shows wear on Lincoln's hair and cheek. The wheat stalks appear flat. These examples are common, but in mint state condition, especially MS67 or higher, the coin becomes a different creature entirely. At this level, the surfaces remain vibrant. The copper glows with original red luster, and the strike appears nearly flawless. Coins like this are extraordinarily rare. Now here is where collectors lean forward, because in numismatic circles there is ongoing discussion about a hypothetical perfect 1950 Wheat Penny, a coin preserved in absolute pristine condition, possibly struck with unusual characteristics, or a previously undiscovered mint error, such as a dramatic off-center strike, a double die obverse, or an experimental planche anomaly. In legendary collector conversations, Some speculate that if such a coin were discovered, authenticated by PCGs or NGC, and offered at a major auction house like Heritage Auctions or Stack's Bowers, it could command an estimated value rumored as high as $10 million. This figure represents speculative upper market fascination rather than confirmed auction history, but the possibility fuels the hunt. This is what makes the 1950 wheat penny so powerful. It is not just about what has been found, it is about what could still be hiding. In forgotten albums, in inherited collections, in rolls untouched for decades. Coin grading plays a crucial role here. A raw coin, one not graded, may appear impressive to the naked eye, but only professional certification can unlock its true potential. PCGs and NGC encapsulate coins in tamper-resistant holders, assigning a numerical grade that the global market trusts. A single-point difference in grade can mean thousands or even millions of dollars in theoretical valuation. Collectors searching for a rare 1950 wheat penny must examine key details. Look for strong strike definition. Full wheat lines, no discoloration or corrosion. Original red color designated as ERD rather than ARB or BN. These factors dramatically elevate desirability. And then there is the emotional side of collecting. The thrill of discovery. The moment when a simple penny becomes something more. This is why people keep watching videos like this. This is why collectors never stop searching. If you are enjoying this journey so far, this is your moment to support the channel. Tap like. Leave a comment sharing if you have ever found a wheat penny. And most importantly, subscribe to USA Mint Coin, because each video uncovers another layer of hidden American history. Now let us talk about selling. If you believe you possess a high-grade 1950 wheat penny, never rush to sell. First, submit it to PCGs or NGC for authentication. This step alone can transform market perception. Once graded. The best-selling venues include Heritage Auctions, Stack's Bowers, Great Collections, or reputable coin dealers affiliated with the American Numismatic Association. Avoid pawn shops. Avoid online marketplaces without buyer protection. Serious coins deserve serious venues. The story of the 1950 wheat penny is not finished. It is still being written. With every roll searched, with every collection inherited, with every quiet moment when someone stops and looks closely at a small copper coin. And this is only the beginning, because the next wheat penny on our list pushes the mystery even further. A coin struck in Denver. A coin surrounded by even deeper speculation. And a story that continues to shake the collector world. Stay subscribed. Stay curious. And never underestimate the change hiding in plain sight. This coin enters the story with a very different energy. A different birthplace. A different rhythm of metal meeting steel. And a different layer of mystery that has captivated collectors for generations. The moment you see the small D mint mark beneath the date, you are no longer holding an ordinary Lincoln cent. You are holding a product of the Denver Mint, a facility known for lower mintages, sharper strikes, and some of the most elusive condition rarities in American numismatics. The year 1952 was a turning point in American history. The nation was deep into the Cold War era. The Korean War was ongoing. Industry was expanding, and the Denver Mint was working at full speed to meet circulation demands in the western United States. Wheat pennies rolled off the presses by the millions. Yet even with large production numbers, survival in perfect condition would become extraordinarily rare. At first glance, the 1952 D wheat penny appears nearly identical to its Philadelphia counterpart. Abraham Lincoln's portrait remains dignified and composed. Victor David Brenner's initials rest quietly near the shoulder. On the reverse, two wheat ears frame the words 1 cent and United States of America. But the devil is always in the details. Collectors know that Denver Mint cents from this era often suffer from weaker strikes, especially on Lincoln's hair above the ear and the wheat lines on the reverse. This means that fully struck examples with razor-sharp detail are far scarcer than the mintage figures suggest. And scarcity combined with demand is where legends are born. The standard specifications of the 1952 Wheat penny remain consistent with earlier years. The coin weighs approximately 3.11 grams. It measures 19 millimeters in diameter and has a thickness of about 1.52 millimeters. The composition is 95% copper, with the remaining balance made up of tin and zinc. These numbers seem simple. But every fraction matters when authentication is involved. Professional grading companies like PCGs and NGC examine these coins with extreme precision. They look for original surfaces, undisturbed luster, clean fields, and strong strike characteristics. On Denver coins, this becomes especially critical, because weakly struck coins can appear worn even when they are technically uncirculated. In circulated grades, the 1952 Wheat penny is common. Millions exist. Most show flattened wheat stalks, soft lettering, and wear on Lincoln's cheekbone. These examples are educational, but they are not the ones that spark intense collector excitement. The excitement begins in mint state, particularly MS66, MS67, and above. At these levels, the coin transforms. Original red mint luster floods the surface. The copper glows like it did the moment it left the coining press. Lincoln's hair strands appear separated. The wheat lines are bold and distinct, and contact marks are nearly non-existent. Here comes the moment collectors lean in closer. Because there are whispers, persistent whispers, about ultra-high-grade 1952 Wheat pennies that may exist but have never surfaced publicly. Coins that could represent the finest known examples, or possibly feature undiscovered mint errors. Potential errors discussed in numismatic circles include double dies, die clashes, off-metal strikes, and experimental planche anomalies. Each of these errors, if authenticated, could elevate the coin into legendary territory. And this is where speculation enters the narrative. Among collectors, there is a hypothetical discussion that if a perfect storm coin surfaced, a 1952 Wheat penny in pristine condition, certified by PCGs or NGC, with an extraordinary error or unique striking characteristic, it could ignite a bidding war at a major auction. Rumored speculative figures reach as high as $13 million. This number represents theoretical market frenzy rather than documented sales. But the mere possibility fuels obsession. This is why collectors continue searching through rolls, estate collections, and inherited coin albums. Because history has shown time and again that rare discoveries often appear when least expected. Coin grading is the gatekeeper to this world. A raw coin is just a guess. A graded coin is a verified artifact. PCGs and NGC provide market confidence. Their slabs protect the coin, preserve its condition, and assign a numerical grade that determines its place in the collecting hierarchy. A single grade point can separate a common coin from a museum-level specimen. Color designation is equally critical. Red designated coins retain original copper brilliance. Red-brown coins show partial toning. Brown coins have fully oxidized. For high-value consideration, art examples dominate demand. If you ever believe you have discovered a high-grade 1952 Wheat penny, handle it carefully. Never clean it. Never polish it. Cleaning destroys value instantly. Place it in a non-PVC holder. And consult a bokeh, reputable dealer, or submit directly to PCGs or NGC. Now let us talk about selling. The right venue matters as much as the coin itself. For potential high-value coins, heritage auctions, Stack's Bowers, and great collections are industry leaders. These platforms attract elite collectors, museums, and institutional buyers. Avoid casual online listings. Avoid quick cash offers. Rare coins deserve professional exposure. There is also a psychological side to this coin. The thrill of Denver Mint discoveries, the excitement of seeing that small D beneath the date. The realization that something struck 70 years ago could still rewrite a collector's future today. This is why this channel exists. To slow down the scroll. To remind people that history is still circulating. Hidden in plain sight. If this story is pulling you deeper into the world of wheat pennies, take a moment to like this video, comment with your own finds, and subscribe to USA Mint Coin. Because what comes next goes even further. The next wheat penny on our list carries even heavier intrigue. A coin struck in 1953. A year filled with transition. A penny with a reputation that continues to challenge what collectors think they know. Stay with me. Because the story is far from over. This coin stands at the center of the wheat penny era, a quiet witness to a nation moving forward while still holding on to its past. The year 1953 marked change in America. A new president, a shifting global landscape, and a growing economy powered by industry and optimism. Inside this environment, the United States Mint continued producing Lincoln Wheat Pennies, coins that moved through countless hands, carrying stories no one thought to record. The 1953 wheat penny was struck primarily at the Philadelphia Mint. Without a mint mark beneath the date, millions were produced, making the coin appear common at first glance, but in numismatics appearance is deceptive. Because true rarity often hides inside condition, strike quality, and survival rates that tell a very different story decades later. The design remains the iconic creation of Victor David Brenner. Abraham Lincoln faces right with quiet strength. His portrait shows fine details in the hair, the coat, and the jawline. On the reverse, two wheat ears frame the denomination, symbolizing agricultural abundance and national stability. This design would soon disappear forever, making later wheat pennies like the 1953 even more historically important. The physical characteristics of the 1953 wheat penny follow the established standard. The coin weighs approximately 3.11 grams, it has a diameter of 19 millimeters, and a thickness of about 1.52 millimeters. The composition is 95% copper, with small amounts of tin and zinc. These specifications matter deeply when authentication is performed. Even the slightest deviation can indicate an error or alteration. In circulated condition, the 1953 wheat penny is widely available. These coins often show smooth surfaces, flattened wheat stalks, and wear on Lincoln's cheek and hairline. Such examples tell a story of use, of daily life. But they do not command major attention. The narrative changes completely when we enter mint state territory, especially at MS66, MS67, and above. At these grades, the coin becomes something extraordinary. Original mint luster spreads across the surface like liquid copper. The strike is crisp, the wheat lines are fully separated, and Lincoln's facial features remain sharp and untouched by circulation. Professional grading companies like PCGs and NGC treat coins at this level with extreme scrutiny. They examine surface preservation, strike quality, luster intensity, and color designation. Red designated coins are the most coveted, as they retain the fiery brilliance of freshly struck copper. Now comes the heart of the mystery. Because among advanced collectors there is ongoing fascination with the possibility of a perfect 1953 wheat penny, a coin preserved at an almost impossible level, or one struck with a dramatic mint error that has yet to be discovered. Potential errors discussed include doubled die obverses, where lettering appears doubled, die clashes where ghostly images transfer between dies, off-center strikes, and experimental planches that were never meant for circulation. Each of these possibilities carries enormous numismatic weight. This is where speculation enters the legend. Some collectors believe that if an unprecedented example surfaced, certified by PCGs or NGC, and presented at a major auction. The resulting bidding war could push values into extraordinary territory. Hypothetical discussions sometimes reference figures as high as $15 million. These numbers represent speculative excitement rather than documented sales. But they reflect how powerful the narrative has become. Why does this happen? Because numismatics is not only about metal, it is about scarcity, story, and the human desire to discover something overlooked. History shows that remarkable finds often come from ordinary places: a box in an attic, a forgotten album, or a roll of coins sitting untouched for decades. Grading is the gateway to legitimacy. Without professional certification, a coin remains an opinion. With PCGs or NGC certification, it becomes a recognized asset. Their grading scale creates a universal language that collectors and investors trust. A single point difference on the scale can alter a coin's perceived value dramatically. Collectors searching for a high-grade 1953 wheat penny should look for strong strike definition, full wheat lines, clean fields free from marks, original red color, and undisturbed surfaces. Never clean a coin. Cleaning removes original surfaces and permanently damages value. If you believe you have found something special, place the coin in a non-PVC holder, handle it only by the edges, and consult a reputable dealer or submit directly to PCGs or NGC. Patience is critical. Rushing can destroy potential. Selling such a coin requires strategy. The strongest venues include heritage auctions, Stack's Bowers, and great collections. These platforms attract serious collectors and institutional buyers. They provide global exposure, authentication confidence, and competitive bidding environments. Avoid quick sale platforms and pawn shops. Rare coins demand expert handling. There is also an emotional layer to the 1953 wheat penny. It represents a moment just before change, just before the wheat design disappeared. Holding one feels like holding the closing pages of a chapter in American coinage history. If this story is keeping you engaged, take a moment to like this video, comment if you have ever found a wheat penny in circulation, and subscribe to USA Mint Coin. Because the final coin on our list pushes the mystery even further. The 1956 wheat penny marks the end of an era, and its story carries the weight of finality, suspense, and one of the most talked about legends in modern coin collecting. Stay with us, because the most powerful chapter is still ahead. This is the final chapter of the wheat penny era, the closing scene of one of the most beloved designs in American coin history. The year 1956 carries a sense of finality, a quiet goodbye that most Americans never noticed at the time, as these pennies moved through hands, pockets, and cash registers. No one realized they were holding the end of a story that began in 1909. The 1956 wheat penny was struck during a period of confidence and growth in the United States. The nation was booming. Suburbs were expanding. Highways were spreading across the country. And the United States Mint was preparing for change. Because just 2 years later, the Lincoln Memorial reverse would replace the wheat stalks forever. That makes the 1956 issue historically significant. It represents the last full year of the wheat penny design in regular production. The 1956 wheat penny was produced at multiple mints, including Philadelphia with no mint mark, Denver with a D mint mark, and San Francisco with an S mint mark. Among these, the Philadelphia issue often draws the most attention in ultra-high-grade condition due to strike quality and surface preservation potential. The design remains the iconic work of Victor David Brenner. Abraham Lincoln faces right with a calm expression. The portrait is familiar, almost comforting. On the reverse, the twin wheat ears stand tall, framing the words 1 cent and United States of America. This image had become a symbol of American coinage for nearly half a century, and in 1956, it quietly prepared to step aside. The physical specifications of the 1956 wheat penny are consistent with earlier copper cents. The coin weighs approximately 3.11 grams. It has a diameter of 19 millimeters and a thickness of roughly 1.52 millimeters. The composition is 95% copper, with the balance of tin and zinc. These measurements are essential during authentication. Even minor deviations can signal an error or an altered coin. In circulated condition, the 1956 wheat penny is common. These coins often show wear on Lincoln's cheek and hair, flattened wheat lines, and darkened copper surfaces from decades of handling. They tell the story of everyday life. But they do not spark headlines. Everything changes in mint state, particularly at MS66, MS67, and higher. At these grades, the 1956 wheat penny becomes something extraordinary. Original red mint luster blankets the surface. The strike appears crisp. The wheat stalks show full separation, and Lincoln's portrait retains sharp definition that seems frozen in time. Professional grading companies like PCGs and NGC approach coins of this level with extreme caution. They examine luster flow, strike sharpness, surface preservation, and color designation. Red designated coins are the most coveted as they reflect minimal oxidation and original copper brilliance. Now we reach the heart of the legend. Because among wheat pennies, the 1956 issue holds a special place in speculative numismatic conversation. Being the final wheat penny year adds emotional weight, and emotional weight often fuels market fascination. Collectors and researchers have long discussed the possibility of an unprecedented 1956 wheat penny, a coin preserved in absolute perfection, or one struck with a dramatic mint error that is yet to surface publicly. Potential errors include double die obverses, off-center strikes, broad strikes, die clashes, and experimental plancha errors during late-era production transitions. This is where speculation becomes powerful. In collector lore, there is discussion that if a once-in-a-lifetime 1956 wheat penny were discovered, certified by PCGs or NGC, and offered through a major auction house, the frenzy surrounding the final wheat penny could drive values into extraordinary territory. Hypothetical figures often mentioned reach as high as $21 million. These numbers represent speculative fascination rather than documented auction results. But they reflect the emotional gravity tied to this coin. Why does the final year matter so much? Because collectors are storytellers. They seek beginnings and endings. And the 1956 wheat penny represents the end of a design that shaped generations. Owning the finest known example would be like owning the final page of a historic manuscript. Grading plays a decisive role in this narrative. A raw coin is uncertain. A certified coin is authoritative. PCGs and NGC provide global trust. Their grading scale creates a universal language. At the highest levels, even a single contact mark can mean the difference between an elite specimen and a common mint-state coin. Collectors searching for a high-end 1956 wheat penny should focus on strike quality. Look for full wheat lines, sharp lettering, clean fields, and original red color. Avoid coins with spots, carbon marks, or signs of cleaning. Cleaning permanently destroys original surfaces and value. If you believe you have discovered a remarkable example, handle it only by the edges, place it in a non-PVC holder, and submit it for professional grading. Never rush. Great discoveries reward patience. When it comes time to sell, venue selection is critical for potential high-value coins. Heritage auctions, Stack's Bowers, and great collections offer the strongest platforms. These auction houses attract elite collectors, museums, and investors worldwide. They provide authentication confidence, marketing exposure, and competitive bidding environments. Avoid pawn shops and casual online listings. Rare coins demand professional treatment. There is also a deep emotional element to the 1956 wheat penny. Holding it feels like holding a farewell, a reminder that even the most familiar objects eventually change. This penny circulated through a nation unaware it was witnessing the end of an era. If this journey through the wheat penny world has captured your attention, now is the moment to support the channel. Like this video, share it with fellow collectors, comment with your own discoveries, and subscribe to USA Mint Coin. Because every coin has a story, and many of those stories are still waiting to be told. The wheat penny era may have ended in 1956, but the hunt never ends. Somewhere out there. In a box, a drawer, or a forgotten roll, history is still hiding, waiting for someone curious enough to look closely.